Welcome back, everyone. Michael here with Offshore Citizen. I am here in Maldives delivering to you some not so breaking news, actually, but some news that might be interesting to a bunch of people who are interested in places to relocate to and the benefits of those particular places. So today we're going to talk about two parts of the world which are becoming a fair bit better in the next couple months. And so let's dive in and talk about them right now. If you are new here, welcome. I am Michael from Offshore Citizen, and I myself and our team are some of the foremost international tax and relocation specialists. We help people to optimize their tax, whether staying at home or moving abroad, both for themselves and their business, as well as for people who are interested in relocating to get more freedom, more lifestyle opportunities, diversification, help them figure out where's the best place to go, help them to get those visas, residence permits, set up companies, bank accounts, all that sort of thing. If you're interested in any of that, please reach out to us. You can book a call with me, calendly.com/Michael-Rosmer, link in the description below, or send a message through offshorecitizen.net. Okay, so the countries that I'm talking about are Romania and Bulgaria. Now, for those who are not familiar, I lived in Bulgaria for a few years, so that was kind of like my common base. I was there for, I don't know, maybe around 6 months a year, and I would travel from there. For that, it's quite a good place. It's not my main base anymore, but certainly 10% flat tax rate. Really, a lot of people should get 7.5%. I've kind of given some explanations on that in the past. 5% on dividends, pretty attractive. Romania, similar sort of deal. There's this micro business regime, although I've mentioned they've made that a little bit worse over the last while. It is still nevertheless an option. There's a 10% flat personal tax. So generally some of the most attractive tax areas in Europe, not to mention you're in a situation where the cost of living is some of the lowest in Europe. And so that's also pretty good. Now, the thing that has been maybe not so good for people in that, if they're coming from outside of the EU, has been these were not Schengen countries. So the countries that were not in the Shang Gun Zone, that were in the EU until recently. Croatia is not a Schengen member, although then got into the Shang Gun Zone. Cyprus, Romania, Bulgaria, Ireland. Ireland, still not Schengen, Cyprus, still not Schengen, but Bulgaria and Romania, as of the end of March this year, so 31st of March, 1st of April, will become Schengen members. And so this was certainly something that I was looking forward to when I was living there. Unfortunately, it didn't come, and I left, and now it came. So anyway, that is what it is, but that's pretty cool. So for those of you who aren't familiar, what is the Schengen Zone all about? The Schengen Zone is a freedom of movement which represents, the vast majority of the EU and a few non-EU countries. Okay, so in other words, there's no border crossings. You don't need to stamp your passport, etc. And so for some people, what does this mean that is kind of attractive? Well, let's just say, for instance, that you are from the US and you're like, okay, I'd like to have access to be in Europe and travel around the EU, but I'm limited on my visa to 90 days out of our 180 days. What's the way around that? Well, you get a residence permit. And so there's, most countries have some sort of a residence permit scheme that you can do. There's a few that have digital nomad visas now, and so that's a fairly attractive way. But the question is, how do you qualify, and then what are the consequences of having this? So a bunch of countries, and the majority, I would say, if you get a residence permit there, A, it might be difficult, and B, you might be subject to their tax system. Now, if you're from the US, you're under US taxes anyway, but a lot of these European countries have far worse taxes than the US, and so hence you're going to kind of get hit there in a really negative way. Maybe you're from a country that is like, I came from Canada, and so you're exiting your country's tax system. Maybe you're coming from UK, you're exiting your country's tax system, and you want to have a tax-friendly country. Maybe you want a base that's low cost, and you can travel from there, kind of like what I did, but you're still limited to this 90 days out of our 180 days. And because of the fact that Europe tends to be like really good in the summer, right? So period of time you'd maybe want to be in Europe, maybe between Spain, Italy, Greece, Portugal, whatever, something south of France, is probably like clustered in the same period, right? Let's just say that it's, I don't know, start of May until the end of September. Well, the reality is that's more than 90 days, right? So you can't actually do that. You would have to go there for a little while, then you'd have to leave somewhere, then you'd have to come back, and you're gonna miss a bunch of time. You could go to Croatia, and that was kind of an appealing thing, but then Croatia joined the Schengen Zone, so you can no longer do that. Maybe you go to Montenegro, that's certainly still an option. But the better thing is, hey, you just have a residence permit in that area, and then you don't have to worry about it. And now you will have this opportunity in Bulgaria and Romania. And so I think it definitely makes Bulgaria and Romania more attractive places to get residence permits than it traditionally has been. If you're interested in that, please reach out to us. We're happy to help you. We help people all the time with getting residence permits in places like Bulgaria and Romania. You can benefit not just from the access to the EU, etc., but also the tax optimization. And this could be also good for people who are, say, from India, for instance, right? You don't normally have visa-free access in the region at all, so it's kind of a pain to travel there, etc. Well, now you can get a residence permit in this part of the world, and you can benefit from freedom of movement all throughout the Shang Gun Zone as part of that residence permit. So anyway, I think it's great news, and hopefully more of this sort of thing will continue onward. We will keep you up to date if it does. If you'd like help with any of that, please reach out to us, and I will look forward to seeing you on the next video.